Fear stops us from achieving our true greatness. Are you a professional woman who is feeling stuck, unmotivated, or burned out? Are you worried about your wellness? Are you letting fear stop you from crushing your goals? If you answered yes to any or all of these, then this is the podcast for you. Dr. Charmaine Gregory, night shift emergency physician, burnout thriver, and wellness champion, along with everyday heroes just like you, will explore how to face fear in our lives and emerge victoriously.
Hello, Fearless Freedom family. We are live on the veranda of my cabin on the Disney Fantasy during my vacation. So I know you guys are probably wondering why there was no episode last Sunday. Well, the reason why there was no episode last Sunday was because I had no way of uploading the episode. Now, there is something that is learned from this. We have almost like lack of appreciation for the amount of data that we have and the amount of data that we have at our disposal every single day when we're on land. And when we go to sea, we realize just how precious data can be and how expensive it actually is. And so since data costs so much and uploading an episode takes a lot of data, I was unable to upload an episode. So much to my chagrin, I did not have one for you guys on Sunday of last week. So again, my apologies. But at the same token, it was kind of cool to just really reflect on, not putting something out, and what does that mean exactly for you as a tribe? What does that mean for me as the creator, as the podcaster? And it just put a lot of things in perspective for me. So I am definitely in what we call a transition phase for the show. So the show has been over a year old, and we've had some great successes. We've grown the tribe tremendously. There's been a huge focus on facing our fears and emerging victoriously, which was the whole reason why the show was started to begin with. So definitely the show has gone above and beyond expectations. And I thank you so much for listening to the show, for tuning in week after week, for coming on the show. Those of you who have been guests on the show, thank you so much. Thank you for subscribing to the show. Thank you for sharing the show with other people. Thank you for spreading the word, because it makes all the difference, right? Because we all know that we have fears that we're facing. Every one of us has fear, because fear is a ubiquitous feeling. And we all have our situations in which we are dealing with fear. And so, the hope is that by listening week after week to the show, that you will come to grips with that fear, provided that it's not something that is going to cause you physical harm, of course. And you are figuring out a game plan in which to fight your fear, face your fear, and emerge victoriously. So you've heard from so many different people over the last 50 plus episodes. You've heard from lawyers, you've heard from doctors, you've heard from business people, you've heard from fashion designers, you've heard from product designers, you've heard from so many different powerful people who face fear just like you every single day. And they've given you pearls about how they have come to grips with their fear and how they're facing their fear, how they have faced fear in the past. And, those pearls have been tremendous. I mean, they've been great nuggets, because I know for me, just doing the show and interviewing all these amazing people, it just really has opened my eyes to a lot of different things. And it has allowed for me to look at things in a very different perspective. And I really appreciate that. And I appreciate every single last one of you who has commented on Apple Podcasts, who have, left us a 5-star rating. I appreciate every last one of you that have done that, because it has really helped the show to elevate and to really be able to be reaching other people and to grow the Fearless Freedom Tribe. So definitely appreciate that. And I hope that you guys can hear the sound of the sea in the background, because I know that it's hard for me to convey to you the visual that comes along with that. But I know that you can hear the soothing sound of the waves as the ship is breaking the waves, and the wake that is left behind, and the sound of those breaking waves. And so that is such a soothing thing, and it is one thing that really brings you kind of peace and centering when you're in a space where you have a sound like that, where you have a consistent sound, just like the crashing and the breaking of waves, the sound of the sea, the sound of the breeze upon the sea. And I can try to describe to you the sea. So I'm sitting on the veranda. There are 2 chairs on the veranda here. We have a railing that has a glass portion and then some white rails, and it's topped with a brown top rail. And you can see for as far as the eye allows, just an horizon that is pure water. And in the far distance, I can definitely see another cruise ship. I cannot make out what brand it is. I cannot make out how large it is, but it is for sure many, many miles away. But the silhouette is very clear. And the sky, my friends, the sky is absolutely beautiful. It is that powder / sky blue with those wispy yet full clouds randomly placed all throughout as decorations in a beautiful room. And the water is that rich, rich blue with hints of white as the waves break on top. I hope that is a good description for you, because I am seeing this and I'm hoping to be able to relay it to you. And I hope that you can close your eyes and envision yourself listening to these waves as they break against the ship, listening to these waves as they break upon each other, and listening to the sound of the wind on the sea, listening to the sound of the movement of the ocean, and envisioning how beautiful and clear this sky with different gradations of powder and sky blue makes its way above us with these clouds that can be whatever shape you can possibly imagine, because their shape is up to your imagination. So I hope that you can visualize that with me. I hope that you are seeing this with me, because I want to share that with you. And, this is something like just setting intention, just being present in a place, in a space, can make all the difference for how we combat and how we interact with our fear. And no matter what your fear may be, perhaps you have a fear similar to mine, which is the fear of public speaking. Perhaps you have a fear of being exposed. Perhaps you have a fear of success. That is possible. There are those among us who are doing great things, and when they stop and think about it, they realize that whatever it is that they're doing could potentially be a great success, and there's some fear associated with that. And that's valid, right? Because with great success comes great responsibility, and perhaps there's a fear of that responsibility. Perhaps there's a fear of what is going to happen when you have influence. Are you going to be responsible with that influence? So whatever it is that your fear is, just really put your mind in that place. Think about what that thing is, and just consider the fact that you are great. You have greatness within you. You have what it takes in order to step around, step over, step through, face this fear and be an overcomer. And so you all know my story. You know that for me and this fear of public speaking, I have tackled it, or am still tackling it, through multiple avenues. So one such avenue is this podcast. Being here for you guys, getting guests on the show who are also going to be here for you guys and who are willing to be vulnerable and share the things that they're going through, the struggles that they're having, and then sharing what lessons they've learned with you in the hopes that you don't have to make the same mistakes, and that if you can relate, your fear will be conquered that much more easily because now you have some tools in your toolkit that will help you along. So that's one way in which I'm facing my personal fear. The other way is I try my best to get in front of as many audiences as I can. So that means getting on stages, getting in front of other individuals, and being vulnerable and putting a piece of myself out there in the hopes that the audience will give a little bit in return. And in turn, there'll be somewhat of a symbiotic relationship that will allow for the feedback that is obtained from the encounter to translate to an even more rich and empowering encounter for the next audience that I have the privilege of being in front of. So that's another way in which I'm facing my fear of public speaking. Third modality. The third modality is by doing extemporaneous speech. So when and where do I do this? I try to do lives on Facebook as well as on Instagram. And this is an opportunity to just get on and in front of you as a tribe and share a point or two or three. And that is extemporaneous because there's no telling what's going to happen when you're doing something live, because you could have the reception go out, you could have a child or two, photobomb, you may have something, a loud crash or noise or something distracting that happens in the middle of your presentation. And so that is a great way to get better at speaking and to overcome the fear of public speaking. So, if your fear is public speaking, if you have angst, if you get that visceral response like I did where, I literally had no sleep the night before, I literally was having a very negative audio track playing over and over in my mind as I was getting ready to go on stage, things to the tune of, you're going to fall on your face, you're going to have, blood everywhere on the stage, on your suit, you're going to have the slides not work, the microphone's not going to work, people are going to be laughing at you. Whatever it is that you insert for your negative audio replay, I was experiencing that. But it was an acknowledgement of this and the negative effects, the visceral effects, the sweaty armpits, the palpitations, the nervousness, the redness of the face, the redness of the ears, all of that physical manifestation, just cannot speak today, guys. Channeling the negative energy into positive energy, and just knowing that you can take that and have that be your gift to the audience. Take that energy and bring it to the audience. Bring your presentation alive. Bring your A game, because you have it. You're a rock star. You are great, and you have greatness within you, and you can manifest that through what you have to give to an audience on a stage, in a platform, however it is that you plan on doing it. So, this is my journey. You guys have been following along, and I really appreciate it. I want to hear about what your journey is like. I want to know what fear it is that you're facing and the steps you're taking to overcome it. I want to know if there is a particular episode or particular guest that's been on the show that has really touched your heart and has helped you to overcome a fear, or is helping you currently with dealing with what you are facing. Because it's so important to be engaged with you, to have a sense of what you're going through so that I can know what kind of guests to bring on the show, and I can know what kind of things that you need from me that was going to help you to reach higher, run farther, you know, get to a longer point in time than you would be on your own. So, we are in this together, absolutely. And to end it all, I just want to say thank you again for everything. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for downloading. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for leaving a 5-star rating. All these things help tremendously, and it really has helped magnificently for this podcast, because we have no, at this point in time, we have no sponsors, and we do not have any promotional things that we do. So everything, all the growth that has happened has specifically been as a consequence of your work, of you sharing it with other people. So I appreciate that. All right. So I am going to have a shameless plug, though. So you guys all know that one of the things that the new fear that I'm facing this year is that I am stepping out of my comfort zone, and I am going to be I'm not going to, I am actually in the process of putting together a podcast creation course for professional women. And that is still in the works. It is slated to be released in the next couple of weeks. And my fear surrounding that is that I'm going to have nobody signing up for the course, and I'm not going to have anyone take the course. And so this is a fear of mine. I'm just being very open and vulnerable about it, because obviously when you put a whole lot of work into something, it is your hope that it's going to be the caliber and the quality of, the high standard that you typically have for yourself. And you're also, when you're thinking about doing something like this for a tribe of amazing people like yourselves, I think of a lot of different things that I want to put in here. But I want to make sure that in the end, the course is set up for you to win, right? So how are you going to win if you take this course? If you're a professional woman or entrepreneur, you are looking to get your voice heard. You want to get your voice heard. You want to get it amplified to your customers, to your patients, to your clients. And one wonderful way to do that, because it's such a magnificent media that is continuing to grow at exponential rates, is through podcasting. And so you may have looked into podcasting, and you may have said, well, you know what? There's just so much information. I could take an online course. I could read a bunch of blogs. I can do all these things. And you can still feel a little overwhelmed. Like, man, I have to get all this equipment. I need a studio. I need an editing team. I need all this stuff. And I just want to let you know that you don't need all that stuff. You do, however, need to have a starting point. And for me, I had done the research, knew that there was some work entailed, like producing a podcast entailed some work. And I knew that I could sit down and I could read through all the blogs and do all that stuff on my own, but time is very valuable to me. And so I also know that whenever I want to do something and I want to get to a point further than I could on my own at a faster rate, I get a coach. And so I took a podcasting course. I took 10 days of podcasting by Dr. Nee Darko, and it was phenomenal. I mean, this course definitely jump-started my career in podcasting. It allowed for me to, at the end, have my podcast set up, have my logo, have everything I needed set up to win. And I have been going ever since. And I want that for you. I want you to be in a position to win. And so I have designed this course such that you, at the end of the course, will have everything you need. You'll be set up to be launching with 5 episodes already recorded, and you'll also have 5 additional episodes planned, and all the tools that you need to be set up to win, as far as scheduling, as far as making sure that you have a system in place for your guests if you plan to do an interviewing podcast, have a system in place for tracking. All the good stuff will be in the bag for you if you could take this course. So, there's a phenomenon that happens where people get really excited, they have an idea, they start their podcast, they do a few episodes, and then they do something called pod fading, which means that they basically just fizzle out. They lose gas, they lose steam. Once that initial fervor has dissipated, they lose steam, and then they just, basically just abandon the show. And so I don't want that for you. I want you to have a thriving show. I want you to have a medium through which you can reach your clients, your customers, your patients, and do so in a phenomenal way. And so the way that will occur is if you have all the things in place that will help you to set up to win. So I'm offering the course. It's going to be released very shortly. And if you would be so kind as to take the course, I would love to have you, because I definitely want you to be awesome. So that's my issue, my fear. And I was just being vulnerable with you guys, totally transparent. And I also wanted to share with you the beautiful view. I wish you guys could see it. I hope you can hear the waves as we talk today about facing fear and emerging victoriously. Have an amazing week this week, you all. And thank you for joining us today on this journey. Fear is all around us. It strives to stop us from achieving our greatness. We have the tools to be overcomers. By sharing our stories, supporting each other, and doing self-reflection, we can do this. If you found value in this conversation today, please be sure to subscribe to and share this podcast with your friends. By going to your favorite podcast platform, leaving a review and a 5-star rating, you will help to get the word out about it. And that is much appreciated. Thanks again for spending time with us. I appreciate your time and your attention. It is my hope that you will punch fear in the face today, and that you will be strong, be brave, and unleash your greatness. And I will catch you next time. Thank you for joining us today on this journey. Fear is all around us. It strives to stop us from achieving our greatness. We have the tools to be overcomers. By sharing our stories, supporting each other, and doing self-reflection, we can do this. If you found value in this conversation today, please be sure to subscribe to and share this podcast with your friends. By going to your favorite podcast platform, leaving a review and a 5-star rating, you will help to get the word out about it. And that is much appreciated. Thanks again for spending time with us. I appreciate your time and your attention. It is my hope that you will punch fear in the face today, and that you will be strong, be brave, and unleash your greatness.